Good morning and welcome to Crusher Trading Live. This is Will V, the Psychomaniac Day Trader. That's right. We're all psychomaniacs. And we are right now in the middle of a double your money challenge, and it's after the first month of April, and we're going to see where everybody's at. And I'm going to show you two tickers that have been rocking it since January. And one of them right here is MSTR. And let's go through this real quick here. So we did have a crush it zone trade on MSTR. So if this is your only ticker, so I think through the month of April, you guys hear music? You shouldn't be hearing any music. I hope not. But we've been rocking it here. So it's been cool. I'm going to go over MSTR. So Friday we had a move on MSTR, and I know I've been talking to you a lot about some of you guys, about opportunity. And what do you mean opportunity? Yes, I mean some of you do not want to give up opportunities, so you're trading multiple tickers at a time, and it's not that you're right or you're wrong, right? It's just that we're going to talk about what is the best way to double your money. And right now, if you're just starting and you're starting with $100 or $200, MSTR and COIN have been rocking it, but you can really double your money with anything, and Dawn's a perfect example. We only have had like a 58 or 54% win rate on NVIDIA, and she's doubled her money. And then you got people that are trading MSTR, Meta, COIN, and some of them are negative and some of them are barely up on their account. So we're going to talk about that and say, hey, what are you doing wrong? What's Dawn doing right? Okay, it's consistency, pure consistency. But let's first talk about what took place on MSTR on Friday, and then I'll go back to the spreadsheet. I'll show you where we're at. Here it is. We have a trade right here, a zone trade right here on MSTR. And I know a lot of people, they ask questions. They're like, well, I don't know if it was going to work out. I was a little bit nervous. Bear with me here. Let me see if I can get this up. Is that the right date? Oh, that's the 19th. That's why. There we go. It paid well. And the thing is, and I say this all the time, is sometimes we just ask too many damn questions. That's what causes hesitation. Even though I'm going to show you the stats in MSTR. Even though I show this to you, the day that you fully commit is the day that it's going to stop you out. Okay, just know that. Expect it. Ask Greg that. Ask Greg, he knows. The day that you fully commit, ask Amir, the day he fully commits to going all in and YOLOing is the day that he gets stopped out, not once, but twice. So then he waits a couple more days, watches everything play, and he works it up again, all that courage, and then he does it again, and then he gets stopped out again, right? It's going to happen. That's how it's going to happen, because right now you're working the courage up to make the jump. And once you get that, you'll start managing your trades a little bit different. You'll be able to start managing things a little bit differently, but you got to start somewhere. So you're going to have drawdown. I hate to say this. Few people are lucky where they just jump in and they're going to win right away. Okay. Except for Greg. Greg jumped in the first week, doubled his money in April. Not because he's lucky. He did everything right. He was one of those guys that didn't have Murphy's Law working against him. He did everything right. And then Murphy's Law went away, and I think he got a little bit more confident, broke the rules a few times, and now he's like, yeah, no more rule breaking for me, right? He knows that. Yep. He got his ass chewed up a little bit, but that's all right. So let's just look at MSTR. So even though you're looking at MSTR right here, and you're looking at it and you're going, well, was there a play? Was there not a play? There was a play, and I took this. You guys seen me take this. This did not get to the zero line. And I know you guys want black and white things. Like, well, you're telling us to hang to the zero line. Look at it, didn't I would have got stopped out. And then I say, well, wait a minute. If it's 20% winner, between a 20 and 30% winner, take profits, because that's a big win. And I think I told you guys, from here to here on MSTR, right? I took profits. It's a $4 move, and I believe I was up like 36 or 32% on this trade. Okay? I didn't get down to the zero line. So a lot of times, you know, we don't necessarily have to get to the zero line, but you have to, like, you know, I was telling Greg and Angie over the weekend that, you know, the way I kind of play it is it's not black and white, but sometimes, you know, if I'm up 20, 25%, I'm taking some profits. I'm not going to be so staunch. And, you know, Will said I have to hold to the zero line. Yeah, I want you to hold the zero line because 99% of the time, 90% of the time, you're going to get to the zero line. But at the same time, be smart. You know, if you want to trade at the 0.618, then trade it. It doesn't matter to me. You're still going to come up with some profits. I'm just saying, how are you going to get there exponentially a lot quicker? By holding the zero line or hanging on to 20, 30%, okay? But if you are too scared, okay, if you're chicken shit and you just want to scale it to 0.618 because you feel more comfortable with some money in the bank, then do it. But just don't scale like 90% of your position. Scale 10% of it, you know? I've been talking to Dawn about this too, and I said, please, right now Dawn's practicing in the sim. And I said, you got nothing to freaking lose. You might as well work on your psyche here, man. Just go all in and hold that son of a bitch to the zero line. If it don't get there, who cares? Let's see where you're at the end of the month, right? And, you know, we're at the end of the month, and let's see how she ends up. We'll see how she ends up. And I think that you'll be surprised. And I'm going to show you the stats. I show it to you guys every single day. And I'm going to show you the stats again today, what it is. And I'm just trying to build your confidence, you know. So you need to be able to go all in, and you need to understand the stats. Okay, you should be over that fear of jumping into the trades now because you know they work. But look, even this little trade right here, little $4, and you know, $4 moves on MSTR is sort of little. So just a little move right there. That's all that is, just a little move. So let's stick to the guns here. Let's get our money doubled in May. We're going to do it, and I'll show you how, and I'll show you why. Let's go over to what do I want to go to? Let's go to MSTR. So I'm going to pull up MSTR here. There it is right there. You guys can see that, right? On the other screen. And I'll pull it up here. So look at this. This so far, can you see this right here? Here's the win rate on MSTR. We've been stopped out 3 times. We've had 15, 83% win rate. The 7-month average on MSTR is 79%. Okay, just bite the bullet, man, and just go for it. Take the drawdown. Here, look at this, negative 17%. Look at this. These 3 stopouts on MSTR, the last time some of you guys and myself played this was the stopout. And ever since then, maybe me and a lot of others are chicken shit to take the trade now. And look at what it's produced. Okay, if you had to put $1,000 into MSTR at the beginning of the month, and this is no lie, this is a real live not even a simulation. This is a real live trades. If you'd have taken them to the zero line, you would be up $19,000 on $1,000 last night, or this last month. Sorry. I know some of you wanted to have a bigger account. Some of you wanted to start with a bigger account, and instead of $1,000, because I said you only need $2,000. You really do, and basically you only need $500 to tell you the truth. And how many of you have doubled your money with that bigger account? Or let's say you haven't even doubled your money. So let me show you something here on MSTR. I think I close it. Bear with me 1 second here. You won't be able to see this, but I'm going to put the numbers in this here. I'm going to show you something here. So you can't see this. I have to put this on in mind. But if you start with $5,000 because, you know, you wanted to make more money this month, you would be up about $95,000 for the month, okay? Now, even if you didn't double your money yet or triple it or quadruple it, I mean, even if you just made 10%, you don't even have that. Like if you were to start with $5,000 and you don't have the 90, you don't even have $20,000 that you made off of that. You don't even have $10,000, okay? It produced a $90,000 $1,000 profit for the month, and you started with more money, and you don't even have a little bit of that more money to spend this month or to take out or do anything with. What's my point? My point isn't to say that you suck and you're a shitty trader. My point is to say that you need to be fearless. You need to be fearless. I'm telling you right now. Look at the drawdown I have on Tesla. You can see that down here. Look at the drawdown I have right now. Okay, you have to be able to take the drawdown. I was talking to one of you guys over the weekend, and I was saying, how much money are you willing to donate? And here's the response I get. I'm all in. Well, what do you mean you're all in? What are you willing to donate to just give away and say, damn, that didn't suck or sucked? And let me try to explain. You know, I don't know if you guys give money at the church basket every Sunday, or if you donate to the Lions Club, or if you donate to hurricane victims in Florida, or whatever you're donating to. Do you donate the money and say to yourself, damn, that sucked? Right? Do you do that? No, you don't. And so what's my point? My point is when you're taking a risk, you're just donate the money. Just donate the money. If you lose it, screw it. Move on to the next one. Because once again, if I go over to here, onto MSTR, how many times have been stopped out in a row? Let me go to another one right here. You got to be able to donate the money. Like if you're afraid, and when I talk about de-risking too, de-risking doesn't mean close your position. It doesn't mean sell 80% of your position. What it means is if you normally trade 20 contracts and you took 40 and you're sitting here in panic mode and you're trying to wipe the sweat off your forehead, right? Then de-risk. Get to a point where you're almost break even or so and de-risk. Take 10 contracts off and then take the rest, right? And go with it and donate it if you have to, okay? Let me go back to March here. There's 2 stop outs in March. I mean, what a phenomenal month. Look at $2,000 right here would have produced $22,000. You've been stopped out twice. The win rate in March was 90% right here on MSTR. Okay. Let's look at February. Okay, we had a 60% win rate, and you were stopped out you had a bad week last week in March, or February was pretty bad. But, you know, these are the things that instill fear, right? You need to be fearless. Look at the big picture here, you guys. Look at the bigger picture. Let's go back to October. Okay. Look at the win rate in October, 73%. Look at I didn't get the first week in October here. Sorry, so this is a little bit off. But look at how you were stopped out, okay? Still took $500 in October, and that $500, even with these here, would have produced a $2,000. That's 4 times the money that you invested in October, right? You would have produced 4 times more than what you put into it, okay? Let's go to November. Stopped out 3 times, 83% win rate, up 265%. $2,000 would have produced $20,000. Okay? You need to be fearless. You need to be willing to give some money away, okay? $2,000, it would have produced $9,000. You had a 76% win rate. Okay, you know, we've been so accustomed to having an 80% win rate that now that when we look at a 70% win rate, we look at that and go, well, it's not, you know, am I going to win? Yeah, you're going to win. You only need a 50% win rate. And look at Dawn, 54% win rate, and she's doubled her account. January, let's go to January here. Am I making sense, you guys? I feel like I'm all over the place, but I hope I'm making sense. 225% MSTR, 88% win rate. Okay, $2,000 would have produced $13,000. Let's go back to November, or is it October? Let's go to October. And this is what I said. What are you willing to give away? Because here it is, $500. If you're only willing to give away $500 on MSTR, you would have taken that $500, right? Look, you had some drawdowns in here. You'd have produced 4 times the earnings. You'd have taken this $2,000 in November, and you'd have sunk it in there, the $2,000, and you'd have been up 20 grand. What's the most money you could lose? If you're up 20 grand, what's the most money you could lose on this entire 2 months. No, the most money you could lose is right here because this is all you put into it was $500. That's the most money you can lose. Now, I would say that what's more valuable, the $500 or 2 months worth of your time? So what you're really talking about, Amir, when you say that 2,000 is what you're saying is your time is worth something. So you don't want to blow this $20,000 after 2 months of your time being invested into it. But the most you're ever going to lose monetarily is $500. We'll get into some other stuff later on when I say once you claim a portion of that 20,000 that's yours and you can reinvest it. Okay. But here's MSTR. Okay, I'm gonna open up Tesla. I think Tesla is gonna be a good one here, and then I'm gonna get to coin. Okay. Here's Tesla. You guys can see Tesla. We have a 67% win rate for Tesla so far this month. $2,000 would have produced $4,000 on Tesla. You see that? Let's go back to June. I'm just going to do these in $1,000 increments. Last June, 1,000 would have only produced $800 with a 89% win rating. Okay. July, 67% win rating, right? $1,000 would have produced $3,900. You see that? You would have stopped out 1, 2, 3. Well, you stopped out 6 times. August. And you talk about doubling your money every month. All you got to do is take a portion of this. You've doubled your money, right? If I put 2,000, like from July here, or even June, from July, I made $3,900. If I take that $3,900 and I do 2,000 here, this is 4,000 in August, a 78% win rating. September. Okay, if I take that 4,000 in September and I put it in here, here's 25,000. I don't know what I was working on there, but 25,000 would have produced 37,000, 80% win rate. October, think about this at large scale, okay? The whole year, not just 1 month, because you seen you could have a bad month. 79% win rating, $1,000 would have produced 2,800. So now, if you're up to like $4,000 or $5,000, you've just produced $10,000 here on Tesla in October. Let's go through this here. October. Now let's go to November. We got $10,000. Okay. This 10,000, right, would have produced 10,000. Well, we got 1,000. That would have been 10,000. So we would have produced, every 1,000 would have been $800. So hang on here. I wish my math was a little bit better here. Let me figure this out. So that's 800 times 10 is 8,000 plus, 18,000, sorry. 18,000, blah, 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 blah. Just move the decimal point over, right? So, 10,000 would have produced $18,000. So you would have made $8,000 in November. Now, that might not make, like right here, if you start with $1,000, $1,800, $800 might not seem like a lot. But if you're making $8,000 off of that 10,000, that's not a bad month. In December, right? December was a good month, right? So now if we're back here and we're putting $10,000 into this, into the salary, we're at 10,000. Look at that. Move the decimal point over, right? You're going to have a $70,000 a month. $70,000 a month in January on Tesla. See how many months it took you to work up to it, though? If you don't give up, if you don't stop, and you play consistent, and you're willing to donate the money, and you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. You got that? Let's go to January, and we'll do January. You can see that $1,000 produced $10,000. That means it's a $100,000 month in January. February produced, here's a 56% win rating. $1,000 produced $1,700. So you made $749, not a lot of money in February, right, for Tesla. But think about this in terms of, the whole year, month after month after month. Because the first month you decide to do this, you're going to hit one like Tesla right here, and you're going to think it doesn't work because you're looking at small numbers here. But you got to give them time to grow. Okay, March, right? We doubled our money in March. Okay. A 59% win rating. 59%. We took $1,000 and turned it into $2,567. And then April here, we're up. We got $2,000. We're at $4,100. You get my point. So if you're doubling your money every single month, you know, it's going to take you about 3 to 4 months before you get to this significant big amount of money. I don't know if I'm saying what I'm trying to say correctly, but let's go to Coin real quick, and then we'll go back to some of the setups that took place on Coin. Coin was an awesome one also. And before I go to, which one is Coin here? So let's do this. Let's go to the trading page real quick. Okay, here's Coin. I took the Coin trade also. And here's Coin. And it's as simple as just getting in. Now, here's something that took place, and I think I called some of you guys out on this on Friday, is a couple of you on your list, you said you're only going to trade Coin and MSTR, and I think Tesla or something like that. But for some reason, you guys took you took Tesla and Meta. You took the ones that weren't even on your list, and you took another red day. So those are the little things that are going to get you, disciplined. And then what happens is you are going to, you took Meta and you weren't supposed to, right? And then you're going to hang on to this trade because you're going to start hoping it works out. And we talked about this also. Like, here's Coin. Yeah, take the ones on your list, because in order to be consistent, you have to be taking the same ticker every single day. And you can see the crush it zones, they set up every single day. And this is what I want to say, is this. Here is Coin. This move right here was a 38% win. Yes, it was moving to the upside, but still 38%, right? This is it right here. This is a 38% move right there on Coin on Friday. 38% win. That's what I made. I made 38% on Coin on Friday. So I seen while I was in these trades, I even said, you guys don't have to take the first one you see. I know you get excited and you want to jump in the trade. It's at the crush zone. I want to win some money today. And boom, you get your ass handed to you. Not because necessarily you weren't disciplined, because you weren't disciplined, but you know that ticker just wasn't working that day, right? And you thought maybe you might get lucky and win a crush zone trade, and you didn't. It's Newton's law or Murphy's law or whoever's law you want to call it. Once you start changing things up, you're gonna get your ass handed to you. I promise you. So is that making sense, you guys? I feel like I'm a little bit all over the place here, but I'm just trying to shake you up here, going, hey, you know what? Keep your head in the game. Quit screwing around and quit letting your impulses, cause you to get into trades. Meta's not bad, by the way. Meta's, not bad. It has a bad month. But if you look at Meta over the last 12 months, you'd have $1 million in the bank right now. This 1 month is not bad on Meta, okay? So don't let it plant a seed in your brain that you're never trading Meta again because it wasn't good to you this month. It doesn't matter. It does not matter, you guys, okay? But at the same time, whichever ticker you're going to trade, okay, even if Meta's your ticker right now, just trade it. And if you're having a down month, screw it. If somebody else is crushing it and making 10 times or tenfold on MSTR, let them do it, because they're going to have a 40%, 50% month, and then you're going to have an 80%er on Meta. Let's go to Meta real quick, and I'll show you that too, but I'll finish up on Coin here. But Coin had a nice move, and like I was saying earlier, either it happens or it doesn't, right? When you get to the crush it zone, it either works or it doesn't. So when you get into Meta, right, and you're praying to God that this thing just works out, please, I'll never go against the rules again. I promise you, just let me win this one trade, and I promise next time I'm going to be disciplined. Okay? How many of you have gone through that, where you just get in the trade and you're like, please, please, I just want to win just this one. I know I shouldn't have got into it, but I just want to win this one. I'll never do it again. So you become the slave, right? Not the owner. You become the slave, and you're in this trade. And once again, if it doesn't work, get the hell out of the trade. Period. That's it. Don't sit here and wait. In this, it did work out. And if you'd have stayed in Meta and you waited and you had like a 30% draw, I think Greg had a 30% draw last week trying to wait for something to work out. And he finally had to get out down here, and then look at what happens. Or if you hang out in the trade and you're at a negative 30%, but you're sweating through this thing and you make it work out and you get there, then you're going to convince yourself, you're going to say, see, I knew it was going to work out. I knew it. It was hard. I got through it, but it was going to work. That's the wrong mentality also, because you're developing bad habits. If you practice bad habits, you're going to have bad habits. If you practice good habits, you're going to maintain good habits. You didn't know that this was going to go back up, right? You're out of your wheelhouse at this point here. If the trade does not work out, then get out, because all of our trades that we take at the Crusher Zone, either A, they're going to work, or B, they're not going to. So do not hold because you're trying to get a winning trade. If you just take the loss on Meta, that one ticker, right? Let's say you're trading Meta and it's not having a good month, so you're crying because everybody else is making money on MSTR. Oh well, okay? Just keep pushing that same ticker. Don't worry what everybody else is doing. Play your probability, play your stats. And I know I got away from coin here, so I apologize. But let me just go to Meta real quick and show you this. Okay? This is Meta for April. Okay? If you'd have started with $25,000 or $2,000, you can see right here. What time is it? I got to get ready for the open here. So you can see we'd be negative right now. We were up and then we were down, and we were up and then we were down. You'd be negative, right? And it wouldn't be a fun month for you on Meta. And I get it. That's fine. But don't cry about it. I'm not saying that you can't make some minor adjustments or whatnot. But at the same time, if you just stick to your guns on this and hold your ground, look at what $2,000 produced in March on Meta. $11,000. Okay, let's go to February on Meta. We talked about this before. You've doubled your money. 2,000 equals 4,000 at the end of the month. Here is January. $2,000, right? 5 times, at least 5 times, right? You've doubled your money, like, what, 2, 4, 6, 8? Look at that. December, $2,000 would have produced $6,000. November, $2,000 would have produced $9,000. October, $2,000 would have produced $5,000. So what you need to understand, look at $2,000 would have produced $17,000 in September of last year on Meta. August, $3,000 would have produced $6,000. So you're doubling your money every single month. And you get into 1 month, like every one of these tickers, you guys, every single one of them is going to have a month where you break even. Every single one. You watch next month on Meta, right? It's probably going to be a whole different story. I think we got earnings this week, lots of earnings on Meta, NVIDIA, and a lot of the big Mag 7s have earnings this week. I'm not sure which ones or what day they're on, but you watch. After this is all done and settled, it's going to be just fine. So hold your ground. Hold your ground, pick a ticker, stick with it, and if it's not your month, just be willing to give that money away. Ready? Don't take, when I say go all in, I know I've gotten off on many tangents here. When you go all in, right, don't go all in to the point where you're panicking, right? You're panicking, and you need to de-risk at that point and get into a position where you're willing to give away the money. So my point in all of this is, if you're willing to give away the money, then you're willing to let the probability play out the way that it's supposed to, okay? You're willing to let it play out because you don't care. You're going to just donate the money and you're going to go on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. But if you're worried about every single trade that you're in, then you're going in way too much. I've just showed you that $500 has the ability to produce $2,000 in a month by playing this strategy, okay? You just have to trust it. You have to stay consistent, maintain your ground, right? You're in charge of the trade. Don't become a slave to your trade. You become a slave to the trade when you're praying and hoping and pleasing and begging let me just get this one win and then tomorrow I'll be disciplined again. It's not going to work. You're going to get your ass handed to you. All right. Like I said, I got off on many tangents here, so I hope I made sense and it wasn't overly confusing you here. But anyways, that's coin. Let me go back to coin. Let's just do coin because I said I was going to do coin. Let me find coin here. There it is. So coin for the month of April so far. And that was stopped out a couple days ago. And I know people got nervous about taking this one also. But $700 on coin. Look at this, you guys. $700 on coin would have produced $6,794 in April so far. Okay. Here's coin. Coin and MSTR have been rocking it. Okay. They have been rocking. $2,000 turned into $5,000 on coin in March, February. If you had 6,000, well, let me do something here once. I think I did something here so I could show you how to grow that account. Yeah, here it is. If you started with $500, if you started with $500 on coin, okay, because that's all you're willing to risk. You're only willing to risk $500, okay? That's $500 that you've risked on coin. In the month of October, you would have produced $1,865. Okay, then going into November, I would have taken $1,500 of that, and that $1,500 in November on coin would have produced $4,968. Now I'm going into month 3 of trying to double my money, right? The double your money challenge on coin. And now $3,000 would have only produced $3,900. You had had a bad month on coin, right? You got stopped out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, right? 8 times you'd have gotten stopped out. But you know what? You don't give up. You don't give up. And remember, Tesla had a rockin' month. So while all your buddies are making 3, 4 times their money in December, you're like getting stuck on coin. Then you're going to say, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to change tickers. No, you're not. You stick with the same ticker because now look in January, you took that $3,000 and you turned it into $9,000 by being very stringent and sticking to the rules and not changing. Do not change the plan. Okay. Do you know why we have a plan? Do you guys remember why we have a plan? Do you guys remember that? I told you earlier that I want to know, why do we create plans? We create plans so that when shit hits the fan, you know what to do. And here's coin, shit hit the fan in December, and you just stuck to the plan. I have a plan, right? I'm not going to deviate. I don't care. I'm going to have faith and not fear, and I'm going to keep moving forward. And then because you did that, January hits, and you tripled your money. Then February hits, right? You took $6,000 and, oh, my God, I got a drawdown. Look at that. $5,400 I made. I didn't make anything. I lost $600. What the heck is going on here? Okay, then out of that, I take March and I put $2,000 back into it, right? And I'm up 2.5 times my money. Then I get into April. I put the $700 back in here. I'm up 6,000. But my point was that if you kept going, and I had this one wrong, I must have changed something on it. But you should be right now over $100,000 on coin, even though you had 2 months, right, that were a drawdown. Okay, you had this one here. So $5,000 in February would have produced $5,000 here, which would have been 2.5 times your money. That would have been 5, 10. This would have been $15,000 at the end of March, $15,000 in April. Bear with me here. $15,000 in April. I'm going to tell you this right now. 67.94 times 15,000. Yeah, you'd be up $145,000 for the month of April so far. Okay, and then you'd have a nice cushion to work with. Okay, don't give up on this, you guys. Do not give up. Whatever you do, the biggest reason I think that traders fail is because they cannot stay consistent. They're bouncing all over the place, chasing stocks, chasing everything. When you just sit still, let it come to you and play it. And, not to mention, you guys, a lot of times when we're getting into a trade, let's see one that we would have gotten stopped out. Let's go to Meta possibly here. Did I have that one up here? You know when not to get into the trade. So a lot of these ones, we know when not to get into them because it channels through, right? It channels through the crush it zone. And so let's go to Tesla here real quick, and I'll end it with this. We got to get going. Bear with me here. I'll see if I can find this really quick. Well, anyways, you know what the channel looks. I wanted to show you what the channel looks like here, but I got to get my computer ready for the open here, and I got 10 minutes left, and I'm running out of time. So I apologize. I wanted to show this to you, but it's not going to work the way I wanted it to. With that said, that's it, you guys. It's COIN and MSTR. Phenomenal months since January. And I wanted to show you one that had drawdowns and one that didn't have a drawdown. And if you stuck with that ticker and only that ticker playing the Crush It Trade strategy, how you would be up on your money right now. Every single one of you, if you've been playing the same ticker for the last 6 months, would be doing very, very well, okay? So with that said, we're going to get ready for the open here. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Send me a drop, send me a like, and we'll see you guys here back in a few minutes for the open, okay? Oh, yeah, let's